First of all, it's a very deep tactical combat, like it should be in role-playing game. So we develop our character. We have like 250 different abilities, and we can use those abilities in combat, not only in combat but mostly in combat. There are lots of spells. We have 5 completely different magical powers. We have 6 completely different fighting styles. We can combine those fighting styles with those spells to produce very effective tactics against monsters and also human opponents.
Our game has real-time combat, not turn-based one. We wanted it to be real-time because we want to involve player. We think that this is the only way to do it. Also, it's just far more spectacular.
We want to use the whole potential of the character. We want to use the whole potential of Witcher described in books. And also we wanted to make combat very intense, very dynamic, very interesting, unlike other PC role-playing games in which combat usually is quite static, maybe not boring, but not so intense and emotional.
This combat is based on point-and-click system, and you can basically use mouse and it will be enough.
You have to react, you have to click on opponents at the right moment, at the end of your animation, to perform next attack in a sequence. With every click you are satisfied that you achieve something because there is another animation, there is another very cool looking strike, because we have like 250 different animations of attack.
So we can cut throats, you can cut heads off, stab your opponents on the ground. You can do various brutal finishing moves.
Witchers also are trained alchemists. They can gather some monster parts, use those parts to create potions.
Also, we have over 50 various potions which are used during combat or before combat.
Some of those potions enable us to see in darkness, other potions speed us up. There are also resistance potions, regeneration potions, lots of very specialized potions working only on Witchers because they are poisons for normal humans. Witchers also can use some kind of magic. It's called Witcher's signs. Those signs are basically spells, very simple but very effective in combat. For example, the most famous of signs is Sign of Art. It's kind of telekinetical push. You don't do any harm to your opponents with this kind of spell, but they are stunned, sometimes they are knocked down with the spell for a while, then they are defenseless. So you can stun your opponent and then finish him with single strike. It's the way Witchers use spells. They combine spells with sword fight. What about equipment in the game? Of course, it's a role-playing game, so there is plenty of equipment, like different weapons and stuff like that. First of all, they're using medallion. It's mark of their trade. This is also magical medallion. It detects monsters, it detects magic, and in the game we will use it like to detect monsters and also to protect from spells. Also very important is a silver sword and steel sword. Witchers always carry 2 swords, one against monsters made from silver and another one made from a special steel against humans. Actually, it's not against humans, but it's against some kind of monsters that are immune to silver. We extensively use motion capture in the game, mostly because we wanted to have a very unique fighting style of Geralt.
To create this kind of style is a really complex process because it involves a lot of people. The stunt group, the designing team, and the animation team, and all that guys work together just to create the unique fighting style you can use.
So we hired professional stuntmen who trained for a few months to create a mixture of different fighting styles together with some superhuman moves of the Witchers to create a very unusual fighting style of the main hero. It has like 300 different animations, motion capture animations just for Geralt. In game we have totally around 1000 of all motion capture animations. Rest of them are fist fight animations, there are combat animations for other human opponents. We wanted to have a combat system which is very involving. You have to observe what's happening, you have to be concentrated on your character and also on opponents. From the very beginning of creation of the combat, there was one limitation. It should be really easy to control, because we wanted to create a game that will be accessible for casual gamers. So you can finish the game with just a mouse. Of course, for more advanced players, they can use keyboard, but for casual gamers or people who don't want to, struggle with interface and controls, they can really enjoy the whole game with just a mouse.